who should be the next manager of England? That is the question that we're going to try and get some kind of debate and decision on in You Decide, the show where we battle it out and you decide via poll cards where you can vote at the end of the show. So this is the question we've got Louis from 100% Chelsea and Sam from UnitedPeoplesTV to battle it out. So who should be the next manager of England? Opening statements. Sam, off you go.
Mr. Eddie Howe. Now, I've seen Gareth Southgate flying about. That makes me sick. I've seen Sam Allardyce flying about. That makes me even more sick. Alan Pardew as well. Let's not even talk about Alan Pardew. But if you're looking at a manager who's, let's be honest, it's going to be an Englishman. Whether we decide to or not, we're traditionalists in England. That's why we haven't won anything since 1966. But Eddie Howe has got a fantastic record. Right from the bottom to the top, he's literally the Drake of managers. And I think he can maybe, hopefully, do the same with England. Let's hope so.
So what you're saying is the fact that they're definitely going to pick an English manager.
Easy, Tiger. Do your opening statement first.
He said for a fact that they're going to pick an English manager when the FA have already stated that they're looking for the best manager, not necessarily English.
Who's English?
So the best manager for me, I think, is Slaven Bilic. Now, the guy knows what he's doing in big games. He knows what to do. He's already done it on the international stage. That's why I think it should be Slaven Bilic. But I'll get more into that later, considering I've got a lot of facts about Eddie Howe and Slaven Bilic in here. A lot of stats.
So, Louis, you seem pretty confident.
I'm very confident.
You're very confident. Sam, are you confident?
I am confident.
Okay. Well, so you can have an initial vote on who you would choose out of those two. We can ask for comments below about other managers that you might want. But for now, there should be a poll card there which you can vote for Eddie Howe or Slaven Bilic. Let's see if these guys can change your mind, and you can vote again at the end of the show. So, Eddie Howe, 38 years old. Has done very well. Yeah. Manager of the decade, 2005 to 2015.
You've taken my best.
Have I taken your best? Sorry, mate.
You've got my trump card and you've just given it to him.
Well, there you go. Look, feel free to reiterate.
That's fine. He was manager of the decade, by the way.
Is he too inexperienced to be the next England manager?
Oh, come on. We're looking back at England managers. We went for the safest bet in the house with Roy Hodgson, and we stuck with him after 2014. Why we did, I don't have any idea in the world. But they implemented some sort of plan to make England perform better at international tournaments, and we go out in the round of 16 to Iceland. I think England have got to switch it up. Whether that will be a foreign manager or whether that will be someone raw and inexperienced in the international scene as someone like Eddie Howe, but he worked miracles last year with Bournemouth. Let's not forget that Bournemouth came up, lost all their major signings to injury. They look like relegation certs. And they didn't stay up. And if you go back to what he did when he started at Bournemouth in 2009, then there were 17 points adrift. And when he joined in January, and he saved them from relegation. And he's a manager of the decade for a reason. He's going to have his flaws, and I'm sure he's going to tell me things that makes Eddie Howe a bad manager. And I'm sure I can tell you a few things that make Slaven Bilic a bad manager. But we're England. And
go on then, Lou.
Well, for me, he's talking about manager's decade, all that. Fair play to him, 17 points drift, well done. However, Slaven Bilic has done it internationally. He's done it in other countries. And the fact of the matter is, England aren't going to be playing English teams, are they? They're going to be playing internationally. They're going to be playing international teams. Now, Slaven Bilic's win rate as the Croatia manager was 64.62%.
Well, why is he not Croatian manager now then?
He left, but he got good reviews.
Why did he leave?
Because he wanted to. He wanted to try something different, which he did do. And he was fairly successful wherever he went. And at West Ham he was successful, considering you can dig him all you want, but let's be honest, he beat my club, he beat your club, he beat Liverpool, he beat Arsenal, and he beat Manchester City. So basically, let's be honest, he knows what he's doing there. Yes, you can say Eddie Howe beat your club, and he beat my club.
So do you have no concerns over the fact that we should be we should be having an English manager instead of a foreign manager? That's not. There's no qualms about that for you.
It's not a concern for me because what England need is results.
Well, there's a question as well. What characteristics do England need in their next manager?
You're talking about being traditionalist and saying, oh yeah, we've got a plan implemented to do this. Slaven Bilic will just kick him and just say, if you're doing something wrong, you sort it out. Harry Kane in the tunnel was saying, what? If we get beaten, does that mean we're out?
That's a rumour, isn't it?
There's that.
Based on rumours here.
But then,
conjecture.
But then Joe Hart was saying
sustained
as well. Do you want me to carry on?
Sorry,
yeah.
But no, get back to that question then. So you're going for Slaven Bilic. What characteristics does he have that England need?
Well, for a start, he knows how England operate. So basically, he beat us twice in that Euro 2008 qualifying campaign.
8 years ago.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Okay.
I was going to say that, but
he got out of a team which people, you know, thought, yeah, they're okay, but they weren't expecting much out of them. He got the top 2 scorers in the qualifying group, so he knows how to motivate the players. He got Eduardo got 10 goals, and Petric got 7.
Okay? This is 8 years ago. Come on.
Let me just finish my point, because, you know,
This is 8 years ago.
You can keep saying that all you want, but if you keep saying that, you're just going to stop me from making my point. So let me
All right.
finish
Well,
my
it
point.
was 8 years ago now.
Let me finish my point. Okay.
Oh, hurry up.
Thank you.
Tell the people. Come on.
All right. Okay. He got Croatia into Euro 2008. He got the best results in their history. And he beat eventual finalists Germany 2-1. He put out a second string team and gave them, and they had a mentality, and they beat Poland 1-0. He gives teams a mentality. Like I said, he's already done it with West Ham this season, beating teams which people consider to be the top teams in England. He's done it with Croatia, and
Right, we'll give you one question here.
No one's answered my question yet.
What?
What characteristics does the next England manager need?
They need to be.
And why is your guy the guy with those characteristics?
Because then they basically need to be the polar opposite of Roy Hodgson. We need to get a man who's not stuck in. If you look at what England did, why did Rashford only come on for the last 5 minutes? My Man United, bias aside, he was the most exciting player who came on. He ran at players, but he stuck with Sterling. He stuck with Sturridge. We need to get a manager who's not afraid to switch it up a bit and to change it. And you see that Eddie Howe is the man who has done that. You know, League One, League Two, Championship. You have to adapt. There's very, very difficult leagues down there. Championship is arguably harder than the Premier League in terms of the amount of. If you look at towards the end of the season, there were so many teams who could still win that thing, win the Championship. But I'm looking at Eddie Howe. Something I really like about him. He seems like a very personable man. And something I've done a little bit of research in is that he looks into the personalities of players that he's buying before he buys them. So he knows that a player is not just what you see on the pitch. And I'm not saying that Slaven Bilic doesn't do that behind the scenes, but for me, looking at who I'm going to buy into, I would buy into Eddie Howe more than I would Slaven Bilic. And give me one reason why Slaven Bilic would walk away from West Ham, or why West Ham would let him go.
Money. It does.
Why do they need money?
It's
the most exciting project.
Every somebody always has a price. There is always a price, and England should be able to afford to pay that price. If we want to get to the top where we want to be again, you have to pay that price. Like you're saying, he looks at players. Slaven Bilic has had to manage players. Let's be honest. Yeah, Eddie Howe doesn't really have to manage egos in that team. He has managed egos. It might not be the biggest ego. I mean, Andy Carroll might not be the biggest ego in the West Ham.
No, just a bad footballer.
Just let me finish. Jesus Christ. Okay, but he might be a bad footballer, but he has 2 game plans. You're saying we need someone who can change it up and do things. He has plans. You look at West Ham this season, they had Lanzini, or you'd have Diaprosacco, you'd have Ena Valencia, you'd play that. But if you needed to, towards the end of the season we saw it, you stick the big man up top in Andy Carroll. So he changes it up. He knows what he's doing with that.
So I'll go to, we asked you guys on Twitter who you would prefer out of Bilic and Eddie Howe. 66% said Bilic.
Oh.
Which is interesting, which means that I think that the consensus is, I guess, that people aren't that bothered about it being an English manager. But do you think that would that affect England long term?
No, I don't think.
Not if there's not seen as a pathway for English managers to get that job.
No, because let's be honest, it's the poison chalice job. It's the job that.
It's teeing you up there, mate.
No, it's to teeing you up. I'm just smacking it back down. I'm probably losing this debate for myself here, but I don't think being foreign should stop any manager becoming England manager. That basing it on that is such a naive and wrong way to think about it. But if I'm looking at, as I said, Eddie Howe's record and I'm talking about bottom to the top. It's a nice romantic story. And England needs a bit of damn romance, man, because let's be honest, when was the last time you really enjoyed an England game? Apart from that first 45 minutes against Russia.
Okay, final 2 questions. You got something you want to say?
You don't need romance, we need results. I don't care about romance. What I want is
England
to start getting results. That's great if you love romance, but England need results. That's more important than bloody romance. Let's be honest here. If everyone's saying England's this great team, well, let's go out.
Well, you want to talk about results. Eddie Howe also beat. No, you've already.
Do you want to look at that fact?
Put your stats pack away, sir.
Because you don't like my stats?
No, because
they're fact.
No, because you keep going and going. Right, if we're talking about results here, Eddie Howe at Bournemouth beat United. Who did he beat as well? Muncie or Chelsea. So we're talking about results. Both managers have results. Both managers have got their credibilities. But who am I going to believe in more? Eddie Howe.
Okay, final question. Final question. Final question. No.
I want to give the stats. I've got the stats.
You can find a way to do that in a second. You've got a closing statement as well. Remember that. Final question for both of you. Eddie Howe has done superbly. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
No doubt about that at all. Has he been managing at the very highest level long enough? Because a big problem in that game yesterday was the mentality. When it got to that knife edge of needing to needing to do something, need to inspire the team in that half-time team talk or in the subs to make those changes and be brave and give that confidence to the team. Has Eddie Howe got the experience at the very highest level to do that?
No, but why do you need the experience to do that? Why is it so? Say for example, we had a massive game in League One. It was a relegation playoff. That is contextually a huge game where you need the experience and the mentality at the right time. Hodgson, yes, he made the wrong decisions, but let's be honest, the players were crap themselves. They just lost the ability to play football. And yes, you can have a manager that can inspire that. Probably they're two different styles of manager. Slaven Bilic is going to be a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more in your face. Eddie Howe's probably going to be the man who puts your hand over your shoulder and just brings yourself out. It's a different style of management. And I just think that's going to be a little bit more suited to England because, let's be honest, it's not going to be a club. It's not going to be like you're managing 12 months of the year. You're going to get your players at certain points. And if you're a friction-based manager, which I would say Bilic is far more than Eddie Howe, then there's a potential to make it more difficult to create that unit that you need.
Okay, final question for you.
Can I not counter that at all?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Slaven Bilic. A lot of people are asking, we need a winner. There's someone like Roy Hodgson who hadn't won many tournaments, any tournaments or any trophies really. So people were calling out for a winner. Slaven Bilic hasn't won a trophy as a manager. Eddie Howe has. So why would you pick him over Eddie Howe? Because
he has the international experience. It's great being a man who puts an arm around your shoulder, but if you've got an ego, which is clearly someone who needs to kick up the backside when they're doing something wrong, putting your arm around them is not going to help them. It's not going to help them. You need to give someone a kick up the backside if they're an ego.
So you get your stat out now?
I'm going to get my stat out.
Final stat. So can you put that in your closing statement, maybe?
I can put my stat out. I've got a lot here. To be honest, let's be honest. Eddie, if you're talking about managers that, he's saying put his arm around him, he'll be great. Eddie Howe went to Burnley and then went straight back to Bournemouth. He's in his comfort zone there. He like he said, players went out to injury, okay? So he's used the players he knows, okay? He doesn't know, maybe he doesn't know the players as well as Slaven Bilic might do, but he wasn't really under pressure either. He did give them team spirit, but Bournemouth came up to the Premier League and it's like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's just see what happens. And fair play to them. They stayed up. Bilic was under pressure because at West Ham, they want that quality. There's that whole thing of the West Ham way or whatever. But
what pressure was Bilic under last season? He just needs to finish mid-table. That was fine.
He exceeded that.
Yeah, I know he exceeded that. So did Eddie Howe.
Do you want me to finish my point and just
not really
even more? No, because
Where are you going?
Okay. He delivered that whole West Ham way, that whole quality thing, and I'm going to say he's an Anglophile. He's a manager he's played in England, so he understands the English game. But he has, like I said, he has that one up on Eddie Howe because he's done it internationally as well. He's managed in Russia, he's managed in Turkey, he's managed the Croatian under-21s, and with that, he brought players through. You're talking about taking risks. He brought through Modric and Korluka from the under-21s and stuck them in that Croatia squad.
Because they were meant for the under-21s. It doesn't really sound like a risk. It's like he's actually way too good for the under-21s. Let's put him in the senior team.
Okay, so here we go. Let's round it up now. You're going to have your closing statements. Then you guys can vote via the poll cards. Closing statements. Sam, I will let you go first. Convincingly.
Let's be honest. The England job is a poison chalice. Whoever comes in, whether it be, I could tell you right now that Pep Guardiola would be a brilliant manager for England, but it doesn't mean he's going to come. And I don't think that Slaven Bilic is going to go anywhere away from West Ham. So let's not think about him. Let's think about someone like Eddie Howe. As I said, he's come the whole way through the English league, and he's now in the Premier League, and he's done it with Bournemouth, and he has won trophies, and he's coped with pressure. He's avoided relegation. He's also won promotion. He's not a man that has the international experience. No. But I think he's a man who is more capable of leading a group of English players to success in a tournament than Slaven Bilic.
Off you go.
Right. Well, the FA, like I said, they've already stated that they're looking for the best manager, no matter what nationality they are. Culturally, Slaven Bilic understands England. And having played at Everton and West Ham and managed there, he clearly knows it. But most importantly, he beats Eddie Howe statistically as well. Eddie Howe's win rate is 46.7%.
How many trophies, mate?
Closing statements, no.
Sorry.
Slaven Bilic's is 52.19. Internationally was his highest win rate. He won more games internationally, so he knows how to manage internationally. Eddie Howe is a student of the English game, however, Bilic is a student of the world game because he's been there and done it. It is as simple as that, really. He has the international experience. He knows what it takes to deliver. That is why Slaven Bilic should be England manager.
Very good, boys. Very good. So there you have it. It's now your chance to decide on this. Slaven Bilic or Eddie Howe. Let us know by voting here right now, and you should be able to see the result of it as well. If there are other people that you should be putting into the managerial hat for this job, let us know in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to Ball Street.